All right, guys. Good morning. Thanks again for stopping by on my channel. Yes, I'm sitting here today, talking to you like one of the last voices, the few last voices left on the internet, to give you real information. The problem is when you go onto the internet today, it doesn't matter where, YouTube, Reddit, wherever it is, you're going to be bombarded with all manner of gaslighting. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to tell you everything, pretty much what you want to hear, but I have decided to take the path of reality, which is coming here, putting on my camera, giving you a behind the scene of what to expect. If you are telling yourself, yes, I want to try to hack my way into being self-sustaining, which means you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to make money from all your side hustles. Yes, this is me talking to you from the other side. Haven't spent about close to 13 years, but I tend to want to leave it at 10 years because the first 3 years I pretty much didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't so sure what was going on, but I kept noticing the fact that I just wanted to do something with my hands. So, but for the better part of 10 years, I have been actively involved in building something for myself. Pretty much put my hand in everything that's possible on the internet. Every method that has been proposed to make money. When the Amazon influencer program was trending, I also did put my hands in it. Fortunately, that didn't work out because I was one of the persons that came so late to the party. Most times, before you even hear these things on the internet, whenever a new business model comes out, before you hear people talking about it, it's far gone. It's already saturated. This was one of the lessons I learned from the Amazon influencer program. All right, I did it, put my hands in it, did all the approvals I needed to do. Boom, from nowhere, the program became a little bit weird. Nobody could ever make money again from the program. The people that kept making money, perhaps till this day, I don't think anyone is still making money, but let's say some people are making money. They're just the people that started many years ago that kind of were approved, by the Amazon influencer program, whatever. Like, they just blessed those accounts. Pretty much what's also happening on YouTube here. So that didn't work. Spent a lot of time grinding out videos, trying to review videos of so many stuff. Didn't work. Paid all the price that needed to be paid. Consistency, perseverance, all that kind of stuff. Paid it. At the end of the day, didn't work. Perhaps it's still gonna work. I don't know, but I'm just telling you today, the 7th of April 2026, that program ceases to exist. It works, it's still in existence, but it ceases to be a money spinner that it used to be. All right, tried YouTube, constantly. Look, I've gotten 4 channels on YouTube. I've gotten 2 monetized channels. Every other small channel has been struggling to pick up, and even the monetized channel, making pretty decent money, not like super a lot, sometimes 250 euros. That's for my tech review channel. All right, there's still another faceless channel that kind of makes decent money because that is in a totally different niche. But I'm talking about the tech review channel. Even that channel, from nowhere, the income was cut into 2. All kind of prices were paid. Consistency, perseverance, constant development, constant striving to be the best, nights of tears and sweat and everything you want to think of, constant deprivation, skipping food, skipping my kids' parties, kids' football matches, all to make sure that those channels work. Having constant struggles, constant quarrels, with my significant other. It is what it is because this is part of the process. All right, paid all the price needed to pay, and from nowhere, YouTube did something with the algorithm sometime last year. The income from those 2 accounts were significantly halved, like destroyed, almost wiped out. From one reason or the other, the shorts, YouTube changed something with the algorithm. The way the shorts views were counted, everything was changed. And even the way the long form views were counted, because how do I know that? For 9 months straight, I kept getting the same revenue. Pretty much like revenue was just capped, and it was half of what it used to be. That is where it gets tricky. And these are some of the things that can happen that a lot of people don't talk about. That's why at the beginning of this video, I just said to you, I'm one of the last voices left on the internet just to, give you a sneak peek into what you are trying to do. All right. I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but this is pretty much what a lot of people are experiencing, but just that not everybody comes around to talk about it. All right. Did everything I had to do. No way. This is where the algorithm or the platform tells you we are in charge here, not you. All right. Yes, still making content. For like 2-3 months, I had no motivation to make content. Of course, still pushing myself, because I understand that sometimes some of these things, they are just phases. It's going to pass away. Perhaps it's going to be an algorithm change tomorrow that's going to, make the channel blow up again. I don't know. All right. Making videos nowhere. And then talking about the other smaller channels, this, for example, this channel, Hardware Flipper, making an untold amount of video. I'm a business person. When I consider the amount of time and one needs to spend in making videos only to get peanuts from it, that makes no sense. Yes, you want to teach people, you want to make sacrifice, you want to give a lot of things for free. The platform needs to also be on ground to do their own part. It takes two to tango. I mean, this is business here, all right? When you spend 15 hours making a solid video and the video gets only 3 or 4 views, that makes absolutely no sense. Doesn't matter how anybody wants to explain it. And the earlier the platform begins to see it from this lens, because I understand they have too many creators, and so they really do not care. But I feel like there's going to be a time where the platform is going to sit back and say, no, we got to treat our creators better. We identify people that are making content on a constant basis, pretty much feeding the algorithm with good content. They deserve to be given a fair distribution. All right. You keep seeing channels making videos only for the videos to flop, and they come to Reddit and complain. They don't come to YouTube to complain. That's why you don't tend to see it all the time, but they come to Reddit and make all manner of complaints and whine and cry and say all manner of stuff. All right. So what am I saying? YouTube has been done and is still currently being done, but it's what it is. The path to making money on YouTube is gradually being saturated. People are pumping content there every day, and before you know what's going on, it's now kind of very difficult, to make things happen on the YouTube streets. All right. Then come to reselling, which is, my natural habitat. This is what I have done for the better part of 10 years. I'm originally a reseller, and I am still a reseller before even becoming, somebody that tries to make money with other income sources. I kind of dabbled into the Amazon influencer program, as well as, content creation, because when I realized that my going to the warehouse every day was pretty much me just, putting out content, and I was not doing the right thing, or I was doing myself a major disservice by not bringing out my camera to record these things. And that's why I kind of dabbled into the areas of being a content creator and also being an Amazon influencer, content creator as it were. All right. So reselling was my natural habitat, and it still is up to this day. What's going on with reselling? I don't know, bro. I don't know, guys. I don't know, because in the last few weeks, things have really been, really, really at a standstill. And sometimes we take a look at these things, most time you can't even explain why, because this month, one of the times I have some of the best items on the internet. Of course, it's a world thing. The competition is there. You are not the only one selling. And this is also something that people do not talk about. They tell you to start all manner of businesses and stuff like that, not telling you that, look, there is something that is called the competition, and sometimes the competition might just be a major distributor coming to the same platform to sell that same item that you are trying to sell and crashing the price. And if you're not careful, you would just be technically wiped out of business. Not because the customers are not there, but because you cannot seem to play the price game, that the competition is kind of putting up. And that's exactly what I feel is going on right now. Yes, it's April. There's absolutely no reason, for things to be at a stand. If it was January, I would understand. If it was February, I would say, okay, things are just trying to come back to normal. But it's pretty much like the first quarter of the year is gone, and there's no real reason why, things will be dragging the way they are dragging. There's pretty much no sales for the last 5 or 6 days. Sales have been non-existent. Yesterday there was the network adapter that was sold, some few items here and there, but in comparison to what the shop should normally be doing in April, boom, it's abysmal, all right, to say the least. Here's what it is. I'm not sitting here complaining, but I'm just giving you a clear picture, of how it looks. All right, but am I still sticking on to this game? Yes. Yesterday, I still listed like 2 laptops, not like new listings, just pull down some old listings, refresh things up, change the pictures, listed it again. I still created a YouTube video yesterday, and today I am creating a YouTube video because I understand the way this game is played. This game is played. Sometimes you will be almost frustrated to give up whatever you are doing, and most times the things that you are looking for is just one step, on the other side. So what have I done? I have so hacked my life that, yes, I'm able to do these things, create content, put up offers or items for sale, computers, laptops, wherever you have it, monitors and stuff like that. I'm able to put these things up effortlessly, and that is where or what you need to be aiming at. If you are thinking that, okay, it's just going to be an easy fight, you're just going to throw up something there and it's going to stick, don't get me wrong, some people might be very, very lucky. Yes, we have seen this before. Some people make 2 or 3 pieces of content, boom, one explodes and the channel becomes, a money spinner. Yes, it happens. You go out, you meet some very good supplier that gives you a very good percentage, and you bring the items here on eBay and you start to flip them, and things just begin to work from there. Yes, I've seen this happen, over and over and over and again. But for the majority of you guys, it's gonna be a constant fight, and the fight is not gonna be light. You're gonna be met with so manner of, levels that sometimes are just out of your immediate control. If I had the powers to just turn things on YouTube now, I would gladly do it, because consistency has been checked, discipline has been checked, hard work has been checked from my side. I will gladly do it, all right? But I do not have the power right now to change the things. Of course, I know I have the power. Just keep doing what you are doing. That is you changing things on the algorithm. That I'm aware of, all right? If I have the power right now to flip things on eBay and just, push 300 buyers to my shop, I will do it. But I cannot just seem to do that right now. So what I have to do, just be patient, keep doing what I'm doing, which is listing items, creating the content on the side, and looking for other ways to also make money, all right? Because like I said in the beginning of the video, most of the ways that are being proposed right now, or still being proposed right now on the internet, they are highly, highly saturated, but nobody tells you that, nobody wants you, because the guru or the content creator wants you to buy something. They keep pushing a model that worked like 10 or 15 years ago. YouTube was a thing about 10 years ago, about 7-6 years ago. The later part of 2-3 years ago, YouTube has been a free-for-all, and you all know what happens whenever something is a free-for-all. All manner of persons are going to come in. The algorithm or the platform is going to try to also save money for themselves, cut things, and it is what it is, all right? So guys, the morals of this is this: it's not as rosy or as blue as you think. there's a lot of work to be done along the way, and there are so many layers to it. If you find a business model that works, stick to it, keep putting in your best, but don't be that person that will say, okay, I found a business model that works today. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to stay on this. I'm never going to look on the other side to see if there are other ways to also make money. If you are that person, you are going to be shocked, because at the end of the day, these things, they come and they go. There was a time, drop shipping was a thing. It was heavy. People were doing it, and it was a money spinner for a lot of people. There was a time, reselling was a super thing. Of course, it's still a thing now, but there was a time it was kind of very easy to get stuff and put them on a platform, boom, sell them, make a lot of money doing it. All right. There was a time the Amazon Influencer Program was a thing. There was a time even getting a job was a thing, but times change, things come and go. And if you are saying to yourself, I'm not willing to change or adapt, you are going to be shocked how quickly things can change. All right. I felt like making this video, encouraging you guys, telling you that yes, it is a beautiful thing to desire, be an entrepreneur, but it's a lot of work that needs to be put in. It's not as rosy as people make it seem. It is an untold amount of work, and the roadblocks are just a lot. Of course, your ability to weather all these roadblocks, to go through all these storms, to go through all these layers of disappointments, is going to ultimately determine how successful you are going to be. And sometimes there's an element of luck in all these things. Yes, not just about your hard work. The universe also has a role to play, to make sure that you, at a particular time, you are where something is happening. People that just got wind of the Amazon Influencer programs. Some people got wind of this Amazon Influencer program, but not all of them met that criteria. But for those that were already prepared, they had a social media account already active, they were able to come in and make a lot of money, while the others that heard about it but didn't have that requirement, they couldn't make something from it. That's the motivation, or the motivation that we have to continue to do whatever we are doing, because we understand that at some point the universe is going to make things happen, and your dedication, your hard work is going to be paired with the opportunity that's going to be out there. And if this video has spoken anything to you, please do me a favor, go to the like section, click on the like button, consider subscribing to my channel. Until I see you again in the next one, peace out.